I'm Supala, and this is my wife Melanie. Uh, we we got married in 1988, and we have four children. Our eldest son was born in September 1989, but we found out after about 6 months that he is suffering from cerebral palsy, and now he is 32 years, and he cannot walk, and he has also some learning difficulties. So basically, we wanted another child, and after about 4 years, my wife conceived, and we got to know that it would be a daughter. And our third son was born in 6 years after our daughter in 2000, and our fourth son was born in 2004. So basically, we would like to tell you about what happened to our daughter, as we believe it is basically she is a living miracle. So I will let my wife tell you what happened with our daughter.
My daughter is Shihani, who is 28 years old now. And I got high blood pressure when I was expecting her, and she was due to be born in 1994, end of April. When I went for my usual checkups, and my doctor saw me on the 27th of February 1994, and he asked me to get myself admitted, that he wants to observe me as my pressure was going up. So I got myself admitted and was there, and he came and saw me. On 28th of February, he came in the night and decided that he is going to take the child out. On 1st of March, and we said okay. And 1st of March, early in the morning, he came and did a cesarean and took the child out. And she was a very healthy baby, and she was very active. Then unfortunately, not like the other son, my pressure was not going down and it was going up every moment, and doctors decided to put me to the ICU for further treatment, and my daughter was transferred to the NICU, that means the baby unit at Sri Javadarapura Hospital, and there she was kept until my pressure was stabilized. On the second day, they noticed some difference in my daughter. To see, she has caught an infection from the hospital, baby cot, and they didn't know what it is, where she was bleeding, and she was getting restless, and so on. So I was not told anything, because as my pressure was going up, and they all were telling that the baby was fine and she is doing good. But I never saw the child for about 3 to 4 days, and one day I asked the doctor, can I see my child, as I haven't seen. Then he said okay, and he said he will take me to the baby unit with the assurance that I am not going to cry when I see the baby. So still I was not very sure, but I thought okay, the baby was in the incubator, because I was in the ICU. So I went there, and they asked me to go, and they said the baby was inside the incubator, for me to touch the baby. And I asked the doctor, can I ask my husband also to join and touch the child? Then he said okay, and both of us went and touched the child. So she was still very active, crying and moving her limbs, and came out. Still others knew what was going on, but I was not told. Back again, I was at the ICU for another day, and Then they asked me to go to the room, and I was in the room, and baby was still in the NICU. And I have been for her feeds, I have been sending the milk, but that was also very little. But to see, because of because of infection, uh, she was like, why they have allowed both of us to go was because she had 50-50 chances, and there were altogether 4 children who got this same infection, for bacterial infection called Klebsiella, and one died, 2 with brain damage, praise to God, and she was the only one who survived without any brain damage. And they were giving like shotgun treatment, because like they couldn't detect what was going on. And so my parents, his parents, relations, priests who are known to us, everybody was praying for a speedy recovery for my daughter. And when I was transferred to the room, sometimes I used to ask, because my mother was with me, and I used to ask her why. Then she said, no, I'm just went to see the child, to see. They have been going and praying outside the ward, because she was right at near a glass partition like thing where you can see from outside. And with all the rules and regulations, they never allowed anybody to go in. And finally the doctors have decided to do a blood transfusion, and then they told me that she's her blood, there is some problem that she wants to they want to do blood transfusion. Then little by little only I got to know what was wrong with her, and all of us were praying. And one day my mother has told my father, because he was staying outstation, she was here, and to keep a petition under St. Joseph's statue, because my hometown, the church is St. Joseph's Church. So at about 9 o'clock in the night, he has gone and asked the priest to open the door and written a petition asking for a miracle to heal this child. So that particular night, but I didn't know all these things, but my mother-in-law, they were also trying their level best to take her out of the country or do some treatment for her. But the doctor at that time, the pediatrician, Dr. Rani Vasala, was a miracle doctor. I mean, she made everything possible to save this child, because she knew the situation at home also. And she has given blood transfusion with all that. That particular night when I went at 2 a.m. to feed my daughter, there was a doctor from Jaffna. He was doing his training, and at once he said, Mrs. Fernando, thank God, because he was also a Catholic, that we have found the exact bacteria. To see, they have been doing all the tests, all the treatment, but it was not the proper bacteria, which was
antibiotic.
Yeah, it was not it was not the proper medicine what they have given. And finally they got to know this bacteria has been there in the hospital about 10 years ago, and they found it, and they started treatment, giving injections, 90 injections for 1 month for this newly born child. And for 30 days they were giving 3 injections per day, and I believe it was a miracle. And she's doing fine now. So she was there in the baby room until she came home with the injections. So we finished everything. After 1 month we took her and brought her home safely. So we believe this is the Almighty God, and with all the prayers of, I should remember Father Noel, he and all the priests who were known to us, the nuns, everybody was praying almost every second for her speedy recovery and for this miraculous saving of this child. Thank you.
Thank you.